Hello, this is Rick Vatner with John Tamplin from Workplace Solutions, and we're here at The Edge talking about industrial relations. And in fact, we've talked about industrial relations. I don't know if I want to talk about it anymore, to tell you the truth. Tell me,
it's a very interesting area of law.
It is, and a very expensive one by the sound of it. So what would be your advice? How do I keep my costs down?
We're referring to unfair dismissals and primarily wrongful dismissals, and primarily they're won or lost based upon the evidentiary trail that the employer has, and that includes, if it's poor workmanship, examples of the poor workmanship. The process of dealing with an employee who's a non-performer and keeping a record of what's said and doing it with precision can be counted in money against what potentially the employer is going to pay at that mediation conference or if it goes to trial.
There's two things there, though. Firstly, you're saying it can be counted in money, and I take it by that you mean that if I prepare a good case, then even if I lose, the award against me will be less.
That's correct.
So that's the money that I'm saving. But the other thing is that means that when I'm dealing with my employees, I mean, generally an employer wants to have as friendly a relationship as they can with their employees. But basically you're saying I should be recording my conversations?
I can only look at it from the point of view of the trial, and I know what happens on the shop floor. If you've got 14 employees, you all go to a Christmas party, you celebrate each other's birthdays and things like that. But if you wish to win the case, then you have to have the precision. For example,
John, if you got married on the basis of making the best divorce, then you're going to end up in divorce.
Unfortunately, you don't. The relationship, like all relationships, starts to go bad when there's, for want of a better phrase, poor performance on one side. Once that poor performance starts to come through, then it's time to do the recordings of minutes of meetings and warnings and everything that go with it. But these cases, a lot of them are won and lost when you employ people. They go back right to the start. So that when the person gets into the witness box and says, I didn't know about the anti-discrimination policy, we can hold up a document saying, Your Honour, there's his signature at the base of it. Now, that bit of time at the start would save really hundreds of dollars.
I mean, generally speaking, when someone comes for a job, they'll give you some references. I must admit, I've really never really valued the references that people bring, because I know that people give you a reference if they want to get rid of you, right? So generally speaking, I find the best way to find out what a person's like is to put them on a trial period.
Yes.
Right? So essentially, that trial period now is becoming very, very important, isn't it?
It's becoming critical.
And if you have any doubts,
move immediately.
And that means, do we still have this 1, 2, 3 letter process?
There was never a statutory requirement to give 3 warnings. It always had to be fair, and you depended upon the issue. 1 warning could be fair. So, for example, if you walked out onto the shop floor and you said to somebody, I want you to do this, and they refused, you can come back 10 minutes later and say, I'm giving you a lawful direction. You'll do this, and if you don't do it, I'll terminate your employment.
No. Well, as you can see, it actually all starts at the beginning. It's been an interesting conversation with John Tamplin talking about unfair dismissal. We're here at The Edge, and I hope that you found out something that you didn't know about industrial relations. And we'll talk to John Tamplin again in the near future. Thank you.